we're winning elections left and right. As we're talking about how the Democratic number image is low, it's in the toilet, or whatever you want to say, I don't dispute that. We just won an election in Omaha and beat a 12-year incumbent. We were winning elections in Senate districts and House districts that Trump carried in Iowa by 20. We were winning the elections. We won in Wisconsin by 10. So I'm not that upset and angst about mid-May of 2025.
Is James Carville correct? Are the Democrats actually making a comeback? Well, we've shown you polling showing how unpopular the Democratic Party is. Earlier in that segment on CNN, that they showed this polling. They showed this polling that showed that the Democrats are losing favorability since last September. So the reporting shows that in September of 2024, the Democrats were polling favorably. People looked at them 48%. Now that has fallen to just 36%. But James Carville is right in that certain elections, Democrats are winning them. So in South Carolina, of all places, a 24-year-old Democrat pulled off a landslide win. And again, this is in Senator Lindsey Graham's backyard in South Carolina. And I feel like I can't say that enough because it's so crazy to even be saying it once. Keishan Scott became the representative for Rural District 50 after securing a nearly 41-point lead against his Republican opponent, William Oden, on Tuesday night. Again, South Carolina. So the DLCC posted this on X. Breaking, Keishan Scott just won his election to South Carolina's HD 50, making him one of the youngest Democratic state legislators in the United States. He's ready to get to work, pushing for progress on issues like access to quality healthcare and public education. So a little bit more on this from the Daily Beast. Scott ran on a campaign of improving access to healthcare, quality education, workforce empowerment, and expanding infrastructure. The win makes Scott the youngest member of South Carolina's House, which is still dominated by Republicans. And that hasn't been the only victory for Democrats this year. Scott's win marks the latest victory for the Democratic Party, which in March flipped a Pennsylvania Senate district that Trump won by a wide margin. In April, voters in the race for a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court handed a humiliating loss to Trump and Elon Musk. I remember that. That was so much fun. Who had invested millions into supporting the Republican candidate. So Maz, here we have something that I think a lot of people are surprised to see. Maybe the polling was reflecting it before, but South Carolina, of all states, and I live in Texas, South Carolina feels formidably red to me, even as someone who lives in the state of Texas. South Carolina, their cities they don't have any major metropolitan areas. They have Charleston, but it's still pretty small comparatively. There's a lot of rural areas over there, a lot of red, which can be said about most red states. But here in Texas, I know we have Houston and Dallas and not Fort Worth, but Austin, San Antonio, all of those big red blue metropolitan areas, they make up a lot as far as, upholding the balance somewhat in these red states. But South Carolina is very, very interesting. But look at the thing that the platform that he ran on, right? He wanted better healthcare for people and better education and better working environments and better infrastructure. These are things that really should not be very partisan, right? By people voting for this guy who says we need better access to healthcare, it's almost as if saying the other party is saying you guys need worse access to healthcare, which is actually what they're saying, right? Even though Mike Johnson is everywhere saying he's not going to take healthcare from people or Medicare, Medicaid, that is what he is going to do. And people are worried about it, right? Even in these red circles, I know a lot of people, they only get to hear news from one source. They're not pulling from a lot of other places, but that message is getting through the red bubble, the Republican sphere, that people realistically are going to lose their health care because of what the Republicans and the Trump administration is doing. So maybe people are saying, look, whatever it is that's gonna get me the things that I need to live and the things that I need to protect my family and my loved ones, that's who I'm gonna vote for. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think when given the facts, people realize that the Democrats are gonna look out for the people who need better wages, healthcare, all of those basic needs that they need. And the Republicans are going to look out for people who need yachts and helicopters and second homes in Aspen. I mean, that's just third homes, maybe. That's just how it is. So given the facts, if you can convey those facts to people when you're running, they see that, oh, wow, this person actually has better ideas that are going to help me. The other thing is he's young. I think the Democratic Party needs more young energy. They need more progressive energy, and they need to sell it better. Sell this idea that if you vote for us, you are going to it's going to be good for you. I mean, Kamala Harris went so far as saying, I forget what it was. She said, I was going to give a $25,000 loan to small business owners or something like that. I mean, she was ready to go, and yet that did not go through. Or some of the ideas of how the debt, the national debt, would be less under her plans than under Trump's plans. That was not conveyed. So this young member of now the state Congress there, or state assembly, did a good job of conveying it. And I think if Democrats can get better and better at conveying these messages, that there's a chance that this negative image they have right now is going to be decreased.
Yeah, I mean, he is young. He's very young, and not to be ageist or anything like that, but he is lacking, just by virtue of being so young, a lot of experience. And so I don't want to say I'm worried about him. I don't want to put a damper on the victory, but he is in for a tough time, and hopefully he has somebody there who can mentor him and guide him through this. Because even though he won by such an insane margin, even though his constituents wanted him, he's going to be up against a lot of Republican opposition once he actually starts trying to govern. So I
think his job right now is going to be a little bit of a rabble rouser, just to make noise. I think that's it, because to your point, he's not going to be able to pass any of his progressive agenda with the Republicans that are there. So, but if he makes noise and he gets press and he gets attention on it, I think that will be kind of what he needs to do right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. Like, you have to get a foot in the door, and this is one heck of a foot. All right.